What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rams Brothers, the pod. I'm your host, Dean, and I'm joined by the other host of this show, Nick. And we have Dad, Rich, whatever you want to call yourself on this episode. We're Super Bowl champions. It doesn't matter. How are you guys?
No, doesn't matter whatsoever. It's just all happy. It just happens to be late here on the East Coast, so I'm a little tired.
We got to bring the energy.
I'll bring it. I'll bring the energy. We're freaking Super Bowl champions. How long did we wait to be able to say that? Oh, my God. I can shave this playoff beard that has gone way too long. We have made it. We are victorious, and couldn't have done it without you guys.
Yeah, they lifted the mask mandate, so now you really have to shave because if people saw you like that, they'd have to check their wallets.
I can't believe we did it. It's it feels like it's been the longest season of all time, right? It started with a selfie. It started in Cabo as Nick cracks a beer. We were all, emotional about the trade. Everybody had different opinions. Look, this is how it started. Everybody remembers the selfie of Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford.
He looks like a madman in that picture.
But it's because he knew that this picture was inevitable. This is when Matthew Stafford holding the Super Bowl trophy, a Bud Light and a cigar. This is why that face happened. And you know what? This is why a lot of us Rams fans were so excited to do this episode, to celebrate this season, just to be a part of this. Because the very beginning of the season, before everything started, Sean McVay had a master plan. He knew he had to beat his arch rival within the division. He knew he had to overcome some internal enemies, the big media coming out and calling him a shadow of what he once was. And, the offensive playbook is the same as it's always been. And he can't win the big game. All these storylines that came out, they're all gone. Same thing with Matthew Stafford. And it's just unbelievable. And, that's how I want to kick off the episode, is just by starting off talking about Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, Les Snead, and what they were all able to bring together. Guys, your opinions. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick. You can go first.
I mean, as the resident, doubter of this whole season. And for a while in November, it looked like everything that I was saying was coming into fruition. But to get knocked in the teeth like that, and for them all to respond and to be you're great. We talk about competitive greatness all the time on this show. And for those two to, it's just, I couldn't have been more wrong, and I'm so happy that I was wrong. Stafford ended us bringing us Super Bowl glory. I got a couple people tweet at me, and they were like, "Are you mad at all that you were wrong?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I'm so happy I was wrong. We're Super Bowl champions. This is my team, and I have my doubts, and they proved me wrong. And it was the best. It was the best time to be wrong ever in my whole life. It was awesome.
Well, it's a defense mechanism, and I think as Rams fans and as Philadelphia sports fans, not Eagles fans, but of other teams, we've had our heart broken a lot, and it's really uncomfortable and it's depressing as hell. And we've been on the the edge of greatness so many times, and finally break through. It's amazing. But what I wanted to do, though, is just kind of back up a little bit and just think about how we got here. So, if you think about the commitment, Stan Kroenke's commitment, Kevin Demoff's commitment, obviously McVay and Snead and their commitment to bring a championship to the city, it's just remarkable, the plan that they laid out and how they followed it to a T. Step by step, as Les likes to say, stacking good decisions. They just, every opportunity they had to make themselves 1% better in any aspect of the game, whether it was, facilities or culture or nutrition or just the mindset. They did everything to kind of set the stage for this moment. Even, going back to the rebranding a year or so ago, we were all upset about, I don't know about the logo or the colors and all this other crap. I mean, they did everything impeccably. And it all came down to that moment, which, it was a magical moment. But the other thing, too, is when I talk about, all the moves that they made, just the talent decisions that they've made. If you think about like the roster improvements, from a draft perspective, where they saw they had holes. I mean, they get Ernest Jones, right? And they drafted guys like Greg Gaines and Bryson Hopkins. And I'm just thinking of all these guys that they drafted that fit those holes that they knew they had deficiencies in the roster. Yeah. And then look, if you look at the free agents, Deshaun Robinson, right? Picking up the Powell, the returner. We saw it all season. Like, who the hell's returning kicks and punts? They're all terrible. Then they bring this kid in.
It's unbelievable.
Stabilizes everything and makes calms us all down. That okay, they fixed that. They saw what we were seeing probably before we saw it, but when they did see it, they act decisively and move forward with better talent. And you can see. And let me tell you something. They needed every single ounce of energy, passion, determination, strength, wisdom from every position on that roster to win that Super Bowl. If that wasn't apparent to anyone that saw, if you look back at the 99-2000 team, they were just, blowing people out. People didn't know how to handle them. They had some tough moments, but they were the class of the NFL. The Rams were the class of the NFL, but not by much this year. So it all had to come together. And, like I said to you guys before the game, it was their time. They put everything together in the right manner with their core talent at the right age, and they were able to bring it home. And it was truly a remarkable accomplishment, emotional. You can see the shirt. This actually was at one time, together. But at that Tampa game, I think I just ripped it apart. I was so pissed off after they gave up that lead.
Dean reenacted that moment for me over the weekend. It was the funniest times of the whole weekend.
I'm sure I'm not the only fan that broke something during the playoffs.
I think the Ben Skoranek interception, I scared everybody around me during the game.
Yeah, everybody that I was watching with, Ben Skoranek interception, I slammed both my fists onto the coffee table and it knocks over all of the drinks, and it was a very uncomfortable time for everybody after that.
Yeah, everybody felt the same way. No, but I mean those are the kind of moments though that if you have the kind of spirit, you have the kind of will, you have the passion, you'll be able to overcome those kind of things. And just going back to what you said, Dad, for a second on Les Snead, right? Like every single draft pick mattered. Cooper Kupp mattered, the third-round pick. Darrell Henderson, who was hurt in the back half of this season, he came out when everybody said we shouldn't draft a running back. That draft pick mattered, right? Greg Gaines, winning at the line of scrimmage. Aaron Donald going back to his tenure. I mean, Jeff Fisher and Les Snead came together and drafted Aaron Donald, right? But I mean, like that, those kind of players, those core players, Havenstein, Hecker, Donald, those are guys that came through. Throughout the rebrand, throughout this process, throughout the transition. Nick is still repping the Steven Jackson jersey when we have all this brand new, beautiful merchandise. We're still trying. Well, just because it's
tweeted something amazing today about how he's, how he's been with this team, not through their highest, but he still feels like a Ram. And, just to show some love to the St. Louis Rams fans that are out there that I know are listening. And I know, it's not just the LA Rams. This victory means a lot for a lot of people.
And I just want to make one point about that. Oh, sorry.
Hold on real quick. I'll do real quick. Steven Jackson was Matthew Stafford, if you think about it, right? He played in St. Louis for 12 years, 13 years, and then he tried to go to Atlanta. And then I think New England, try to win a Super Bowl. I think he played in a Super Bowl. So, everybody tries to get their shot. Quick, go ahead, Dad. What were you trying to say?
No, I was just going to say, with all due respect to St. Louis, we're Rams fans. I was a LA Rams fan before they moved, living here in Jersey. And, obviously you have passionate fans, multiple places, in particular St. Louis. And, but, I was on a message board, I don't know, Rams on Demand or one of those for years. And especially when I knew I felt like they were going to move. And I was trying to point out to people that for the strength of the brand and, for the Rams to truly be who they could be, and that's like that top 5 NFL team.
You foresaw where they are right now. Yeah.
They needed to make that move. And, we're so fortunate that we had an owner that would make that move. And I know it's sad when you lose your team, but hey, I've been a Rams fan living 3,000 miles away or 1,500 miles away my entire life. If you love the Rams, you love the Rams. I mean, yeah, you can't go there maybe a couple games a year, but I fell in love with the uniforms. I fell in love with the colors and the players, 40 years ago. So, hopefully everyone's now in lockstep and happy, and you can celebrate the Rams as an entity, because that's what NFL teams are now. They're a brand. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. These players aren't from Los Angeles. They're from all over the country. They're more passionate about their college teams for the most part. Although, if you have a great moment like you've had with the Rams for 9, 10, 12 years, you obviously have a different point of view. But that's really what it's all about. To me, it's about what's going to be best for the brand and the future of something that you love, because we all see changes. Hey, Dean and Nikki, your favorite store was Blockbuster. Where's that at today?
Blockbuster, Toys R Us, really any great retail store that you would want to name, is gone.
Yeah, so it changes. So
Nick, what did you have to say?
In what regard? I don't. I would just to kind of speak on Dad's point and name that we weren't talking about how they filled rosters like pieces so well. Like that Sony Michel trade that giving up stuff, and it was like, well, we have Henderson, Akers, we lost them. Like this team had so many excuses and so many players that by the end of it weren't on the roster that could have been. And it didn't matter. They brought everything that they needed on the field. And that season, I talked about this with my good friend Taryn Killam when he was on the podcast. it never really felt like it was our year. Like not once, maybe in October when they were winning a lot and they were like 8-1 or like 7-1 or something. But you saw what everybody else was doing around the league. And for them to just come out on top now after losing Robert Woods and Cam Akers for most of the year, having people like Blanton and Skoranek forced to step up and make big plays, it's just like they pulled on our heartstrings so much. There were so many games, so many fourth quarter comebacks, and so many times where my hands were in my head and I didn't want to look at the screen, but they came back and they did it. And I don't know if it's more glorious that way. Like if they would have blown out the Bengals, do you think you'd be as happy as you are now? I don't know. Like the fact that they came back and did it that way is it means so much to have to go through that roller coaster and come out on top. After Cooper Kupp scored the touchdown, I started crying, and then they called it back, and I was like, "Are these tears for nothing?"
That touchdown, yeah.
That's
and then they got it.
I still thought that was a touchdown. Yeah, and
So,
I didn't think he was going to get back up. It was scary. Two things I have there. Just when I was in the stadium at that point, right? You're trying to understand the emotions and everything that's going on, but then you also understand what Les Snead did, bringing in free agents and everything, the emotions being within the stadium, trying to understand what was actually happening within that moment. If they had won, if it was Cooper Kupp that came down with the touchdown, everybody was going nuts and there was so much confusion. But I just when you're in there and you're trying to get through the moment, you're looking around, there's nothing like it. And I don't know, it just you can't necessarily explain it. You go to free agency too and you look at Les Snead and Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr. and some of the other things that they were able to do, just the free agents they were able to bring in, the talent, the star power, everything. I just wanted to show this clip real quick because it's Odell Beckham Jr. and Matthew Stafford on the sideline. And Nick, I think you're going to like the comment that Odell Beckham Jr. makes. Hold on.
Looking for Odell Beckham Jr. He high points the football and has the 6. Touchdown, OBJ.
Hey, where'd that ball hit you? Good spot, just kind of right out in front?
Eli used to throw it a little
No, I just couldn't see it.
I don't know why you didn't wear number 10. All you throw is dime.
Is he saying Eli threw it a little more of a loft? It's easier to grab.
He's teasing him.
That's awesome.
Well, the other thing too is I think you cannot. I mean, and again, all the pieces have to come together to win a championship. But the one thing that you cannot understate is how fantastic the coaching was, whether it was in the playoffs. I mean, the games up into the Super Bowl, but all the way through. I mean, everyone was just put in such a great. But Raheem Morris, who I mean, after the first 3 or 4 games, I'm like, this is the worst hire ever. You know, he looked terrible, and his ability to adjust and the way they found just the talent and the schemes to stop the run, whether it was the Niners or whomever in the playoffs. I mean, Tampa Bay couldn't run real well, and even the Bengals couldn't run real well at all. Maybe a couple of plays, but the way they were able to fix those holes with the talent that they had, I didn't know they had that in them, because we had seen that in previous years that they weren't able to make that adjustment. And then if you think about the detail in coaching, like think about that 4th and 1 play. And I got to tell you, man, my heart's stopping on that play because they don't get that first down.
Dad, did I not text you jet sweep right before that drive?
Well, we said it all year.
Jet sweep.
Yeah.
All year. It's either roll out Stafford or run a jet sweep, right? I mean, they're the 2 plays that you want to do there. And they run it. And who makes the block? The 4th string tight end. I mean,
yeah, Bryson Hopkins.
Yeah, how many times have we seen it? We love Tyler Higbee, but he's missed a couple blocks in his day, right? And the 4th stringer makes the most important block of the entire last 5 years to get Cooper Kupp those 5 yards. I mean, that's just dropping stuff. And I mean, I'll tell you, that game, I wrote down some notes if we go back to that game a little bit, but
4th and 1. Oh my God.
That game was scary.
But that's why. I mean, the investment, right?
The thing was, Dean and I were talking about this. We were like almost on the level of celebration. I mean, he came out to LA. We were like that whole day prior and the day before, Sunday and Saturday before the game. We were it kind of felt like we had already won. Like I was looking at the matchup. In my head, I'm thinking there's no way we lose this at home. I'd with OBJ, one of them's got to be open. And then OBJ goes down, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like such an ass. Like this Joe Burr is gonna, come and beat us in home, and then we're never gonna make it back. And all these sad, McVay 0-2 when it matters. He's like Shanahan, and then they did it. It was just. It's magical. It's magical.
Well, hey, truth be told, I was a nervous wreck just because I'm a nervous fan. It's been a torturous 10 plus years as a Rams fan, but I was just a little. I knew I couldn't. My mind wouldn't be free just enjoying time in LA, knowing you got the Super Bowl right around the corner. And I mean, if you think about what was scary in that game, so first off, we couldn't run the ball. I mean, we had all 3 running backs, and we were averaging 1.5 yards per carry against the defense that was, prone to the run. So
1.9 was the final.
That was scary as hell. Just knowing the way, an NFL game is being played. If you can't run the ball, that's usually not a recipe for a win. I mean, we weren't really able to get much pressure in the first half. With that offensive line, it gave up 9 sacks to the Titans. I'm like, we can't get to the quarterback, and we can't stop the run.
Well, one thing
that's not a recipe for the Rams to win a game.
One thing I noticed about Raheem is that he doesn't like to he likes to let them get a little comfortable, and then he brings so much pressure in the second half. It's something he did throughout the whole playoffs. So I felt a little okay because the offense was doing what they were supposed to do. I was like, we can let them get 7. They're not going to not score. You know what I mean? There's a reason why they're here. But yeah, no, go ahead.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is, OBJ going down. I mean, I think we all knew at that moment. Now we have one starting wide receiver who they're going to triple team, right? And then you're going to have Skoranek and a backup tight end and a running game that's not working. They're going to need every ounce of effort to get in the end zone. And you could see what it took. I mean, there was a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Going back to the Odell Beckham Jr. clip for a second, once he goes down, the whole game plan changes. You know that you have a matchup that's predicated on Odell Beckham Jr. and Eli Apple or whoever that secondary guy is in coverage, right? You know that you can kind of bait the matchup. And that's what the Rams did really well throughout the playoffs, right? They would find individual matchups that they preferred. And Odell Beckham Jr. and Cooper Kupp can get separation all day. I mean, and then you go to the no-look pass. The reason why I think the no-look pass happened was because Cooper Kupp was in triple coverage for the back half of this game, right? That's where it gets so scary. You have to kind of create something out of nowhere. If you went back and watched the NFL films, you saw Matthew Stafford go to Cooper Kupp and say, I need you here, right? I need you to make a play. And it's just kind of predicated on him running the proper route, which they've been able to do all season, timing, which they are perfect. Their chemistry is absolutely perfect. And then just the ability to kind of trust yourself in the moment, in the fourth quarter, in the Super Bowl, to sit there, to be confident, to make the no-look throw, and to hit it perfectly in sync. It was beautiful. And can I show the clip? Are you guys okay with me showing the clip?
I mean, I watched it probably upwards of 75 times today. So
just
76.
so we could relive it. I mean, we may as well. Hold on.
I didn't even notice it happened live. I didn't know it was a no look. Did you?
You never do. You can't tell. I was at the game. You can't tell. Hold on one sec. I mean, he's holding, whether it was a linebacker or it was a nickel corner, with his eyes, just so he can make that throw into the second level to pick up.
And the guy still almost gets it. You know what I mean? Like he had to, the whole time he needs to be looking that way. Otherwise, the corner's going to get back on Cup.
And it happened in Tampa too, right? Didn't he have that same throw against Tampa?
He did.
And I think that's, so getting back to my scaries of this game, I know it's a victory game, but I think we always look at this like in a complete 360 view.
No, you have to.
If McVay's game plan, I'm guarantee you he went into this game, we're going to establish the run, we're going to control the clock, we're going to win it on defense, and my number one mismatch is OBJ, right? Because they're going to double or triple Cooper Kupp, and then you can't run, and then OBJ goes down. So like I said, it was really scary, and then you have something like I haven't seen the Rams missed an extra point due to a snap in probably 15 years. I can't.
Not since Hector was there, right?
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Another thing too is credit to the Bengals and Joe Burrow. The moment wasn't too big for him. I mean, he throws an amazing pass to Chase down the sideline. I mean, just remarkable. And he's moving around the pocket and he's making plays. I mean, credit to that kid. I mean, he really. The lights were bright, man, and he had no hesitation, no fear. He played great until that very last play, which he almost completed. But then, you look at the way Ramsey was playing, and now I know 2 plays were huge, right? And he was right on. I mean, the one down the sideline was just a great play. And the second one, there was a face mask there, but he looked a little twisted up anyway. Like that should have been an interception. It was underthrown ball. Right?
I didn't want to really say that, but I'm glad that you did because it kind of looked like he was falling already. And I think maybe that's why they didn't call it. And the slow motion replay definitely makes it look worse than it was. But I mean, look, I had friends after that texting me pictures of the NFC Championship 2018 Rams Saints game. With like the blown call, like, oh, you gotta be better than that, man. And I'm like, shut the hell up.
And they were, and that's it sounds all bad. And the last one too that I just point out is we lost a turnover battle by 2, and I think there's only been 2 Super Bowl teams that have won by more than a point or so that have won the turnover battle. I mean, or lost the turnover battle and still won the game. That was pretty.
The last
amazing.
time it happened was Steelers. Rams in the 80s. Rams won the turnover battle. Steelers won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And that was that was
the last time it happened?
And that was in I think the Rose Bowl, right?
Oh, that's outrageous.
Yeah. I mean, that's
so the numbers defied us. Right.
That's
so
what I mean.
It goes back to Les Snead. That's why he deserves credit. And Nick, we talked about this in November before they went on the losing streak. We were like, if everything works to perfection, this model is going to be recreated. It's going to be recycled throughout the league. It's going to be Moneyball. It's going to be Billy Bean. And now we're living that. So we're eventually going to be able to see it, all come to fruition throughout the rest of the league. You'll see Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings and whoever's hiring anybody from the Rams' staff and a GM or poaching anybody from the Rams' front office will try and, bring on this identity, this personality that is all about star power, that doesn't concern themselves over first-round picks, that can manage the salary cap differently. It's revolutionary, and now it's going to all come to life, and Les Snead's going to get the praise that he deserves, which is well warranted.
League. It's a copycat league, right?
Yep.
I mean, the Brady thing, I think was a bit of an anomaly, right? Because you get the greatest of all time decides to make a change. He had a seasoned coach, and then everyone kind of ran behind him. Versus
with Manning.
Yeah, but Denver was a pretty solid team.
I guess Tampa really wasn't that solid.
I mean, they were okay. They had some good pieces, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a copycat league. Everyone's going to start trying to find a way to make a quick fix, and the one thing I do know about copycat isms is typically if you're the third in, fourth in, it's really hard to redo. I think the Rams took the absolute right time to make the big shots, right, and take the big shots, whether it was Stafford or Ramsey or bringing Miller in. They did all the right things, and to the victor goes the spoils, which we are. And LA gets to celebrate tomorrow. Unfortunately, I won't be there, but it should be one hell of a day for everyone. And I hope they just soak every second in, because these moments, I'm 50 years old. The Rams have been to 5 Super Bowls. That's one every 10 years.
You're
man.
older than 50.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Well, I didn't count the first 5 years of my life, and there's only been 56 Super Bowls, right? So, so it's it's truly rare. But the one thing I will say, if you look at the Rams right now, I think if they can keep 90% of the talent that they have a really good shot to go back, because now you're playing with house money, right? And
I mean, also, like, you have the Super Bowl under your belt. You've been in that situation twice now if you're Sean McVay. You won it if you're Matthew Stafford. Like, you have a whole different energy when you are a champion, and you can kind of hang your hat on that. But hold on. 2 questions I kind of want to propose to you guys. 2 things I want to say. The second, I'll address to you both. But my favorite stat for the game, Darrell Henderson, 3 receptions, 43 yards. For him to step up after not playing a single playoff game and like make catches, like he's a running back, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not even that kind of back. Absolutely huge. And then OBJ, 52 yards before he got hurt and a touchdown. Like, the game could have been blown up, but
he could have been the MVP.
The
MVP easily.
I think he would have been. I still think Donald deserves it, especially for that last play and what he does on defense as a whole. That's neither here nor there. The second, the question I propose to you is, do you think now that the Rams are champions, that the Les Snead model changes the league? Like, do you think, and I think Kyler is almost like an example of this, because he's frustrated. OBJ was frustrated. He got out of Cleveland and he just won a ring. And I think Kyler sees other teams that are better than the Cardinals, that have better coaches, better pieces around them. I think I heard some talks about the Vikings with Kyler, with Kevin.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you think
like it's a good question.
What they did is enough to change it? Yeah.
No, I think that it's more of an off-season thing. But yeah, I'm sure it could, of course, change the entire league. But I don't think anybody's ever – we talked about this again in November. Nobody's ever going to do it as well as the Rams just did it, right? The first time that you do it, it'll be recycled. You'll never have the same kind of star power. It takes a head coach. It takes an owner. It takes a GM. It takes everybody within the front office that builds the contracts, the training staff, like Dad mentioned, all the way down to nutrition. Everybody buying into the same methodology. It takes all of that. We Not Me, Rams House, Mob Squad, all of that stuff compiled into one. And that's the embodiment of like 6 seasons of them almost climbing up to the mountaintop and then finally going over the top. So I don't think anybody else can compare to that. Kyler go to Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell and they'll win, 9 games next year. I could give a shit, honestly. Like that's
you just mentioned it too, though. Like, you have to have. I mean, we've been blessed. We have some all-timers that are also amazing people, right? They're good, wholesome, hardworking, determined. They lead by example. Take an Aaron Donald for he's one of the greatest players that ever played. You're not going to find an Aaron Donald, just because you now replicated the Rams model, and maybe you go out and get I call him Kylie Murray. You go out and get a Kylie Murray, right? If you bring him in, it doesn't necessarily mean you got an Aaron Donald that's going to anchor the defensive line. And if you look at those last 2 plays, and I don't know if you have that clip, Dean, but
I do.
What Aaron Donald did on those last 2 plays, and we've seen it over and over, but even the third, was a 3rd and 1, and how he pulled the running back back when he was.
I have a couple things. I mean, one thing that you just said, right? You're buying in on the people. Aaron Donald's one of those people that you bought in. Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, their families, all that good stuff. But look, just watch this play real quick. This is just Aaron Donald just pushing the sled, as you call it. Just a flat out bull rush, take advantage of the right guard, lay him on his back, and get in the quarterback's pocket. Ready? Watch this play. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to narrate over it because there's no sound or anything. Watch Aaron Donald get off the line of scrimmage. Boom, right guard in the quarterback's lap.
He brings the right guard with him. The right guard can't do.
Ridiculous.
I mean, how are they not double teaming him there?
Yeah, when he gets a snap where he feels like, where he doesn't get a chance to be double teamed, he is a flat out bull rush. I'm getting into the quarterback's lap. It's the greatest thing to see, and that's why he's the greatest defensive tackle of all time.
Yeah, I'll argue best defensive player. I mean, people say Lawrence Taylor, but when you're playing on the outside, and I saw Lawrence Taylor play, I saw him come up as a rookie. He just had that blazing speed, and he was tough and mean. And he was an amazing player. I would say the only other guy that I'd put on his level would probably be Reggie White, because he was on the edge, but he had all the tricks like Aaron Donald. Just had that country strength, man, where, he could take the thing about Reggie, though, he's bigger than Aaron. But, he just had that country strength, and he could bull rush. He had the speed. He had the whip. He had the motor. But, I mean, I don't know. I saw him and Aaron Donald play, and Aaron's still, just peaking, man.
Yeah, he is.
And Reggie had a window. I don't know if it was that long. Great player, but, I mean, I tip my cap to Aaron Donald, honestly, out of all the players that I've seen. Again, LT was great, speed guy, came around the edge, made big plays. Kind of I don't know. I don't want to compare him to anyone because there's a lot of
greatest Rams of all time. I mean, he's up there with Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Eric Dickerson, Orlando Pace, Deacon Jones. I mean, where would you put him on the Mount Rushmore? I mean, he's number 1 or 2 at this point now that he's got a ring.
I always say the quarterbacks, so but
Kurt Warner, Aaron Donald. Maybe even
I don't know. Don't move over Kurt Warner, dude. Aaron Donald's my number 1.
Now that Donald has, maybe it's Donald Warner.
It's Donald Warner. That's a great question, though. Donald Warner, Cooper Kupp starts to come in the conversation. Eric
Dickerson. Yeah, you got to throw Dickerson in there.
Isaac Bruce. Isaac Bruce is probably right there. I mean, Orlando Pace. There's been some amazing Marshall Faulk. It was a short window for him because he was traded, kind of like with Matthew Stafford. Does anybody know why they only call him Matthew?
I just think
it's his wife. Yeah, I think it's his wife. What he prefers, kind of like a family thing.
Yeah, I mean they all do it. So message is loud and clear. Nobody calls him Matt.
I just realized you have the towel hanging up in the back down there.
I have a towel. It was a Tom and Jerry thing, but
How about this? We'll transition over to Super Bowl MVP talk. Obviously, Cooper Kupp won the Super Bowl MVP. Here's a picture of him do it for a crown that will last forever. I believe that is a quote from Corinthians. Cooper Kupp's a religious guy. His statistics were unbelievable. He's a family man. He's the player that you buy into. He's the player you go all in for. He's the player you rep his jersey at the game. Look at these statistics. This is why, though. You look at the total receiving yards, 2,425. It's 500 more than Larry Fitzgerald in the best season ever. NFL history, including playoffs. This is the most receiving yards in a single season. Cooper Kupp absolutely obliterated those numbers. I think it was Andrew Siciliano who said it yesterday. If you slice those numbers in half directly, those are 2 separate Pro Bowl players. Cooper Kupp did it in 1 season in 21 games. Just absolutely outrageous. So was it Cooper Kupp? Because it felt like offensively, he was the guy you had to go to in any moment. And he was the guy, obviously, who created the touchdown at the end. But was it Aaron Donald? Go ahead, jump in.
Well, and here's one point that I want to pull up because I think this is really important when you think about everything that went into the Super Bowl. One is the amount of time that Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp spent together. And their ability to create that chemistry to take them to that next level, take Cooper Kupp to the next level, take Matthew Stafford to the next level. That's why Jared Goff's not here. I mean, he had him for 4 years. And I would say to myself in previous playoff seasons, these guys have been playing together for 3-4 years. Why don't they know, why don't they have these hints and clues and tips and tricks and that they've developed over time just being out there together? And I just never saw that. And you saw it this year, in particular, the clip that Dean showed earlier with the no-look pass and the touchdown at the end of the game. Those two had such a, they were in lockstep. They were mind melding one another. And that's what really does create that little edge you need to get over the top. And that's why I said if they're all back together again another year and they have another year to work hard and refine some things, they can even be more explosive with a full season of Cam Akers.
Yeah, you said it. You said 500 hours. That's what is that? Outliers? What book was that?
Yeah, it was Outliers. I mean, I think that was 30,000 hours, but I mean, they've only had one season together. But the amount of
100,000 hours the Beatles, I think, spent together in the beginning, right? But that's the amount of time. That was just extra time outside of all the time and dedication that they put into the season. That was just them texting, them on FaceTime, them doing whatever they got to do behind the scenes. So that's stuff that you admire. That's the reason why I believe he won Super Bowl MVP. But I also wanted to transition over to Aaron Donald, who I felt like was deservingly so of the Super Bowl MVP as well. So I'm going to show the NFL Films clip. This might quite possibly be my favorite video of all time. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick. This is
43 seconds remaining.
Hey, what else could you want? What else could you want? Right now, let's go. Let's go. Hey, Aaron, this is the moment. Right now. For the world championship right here. Aaron Donald's going to make a play.
Burrow to throw for it. He's hit. He blinks it away on 4th down. Aaron Donald got there.
Yeah! Yeah! I knew it!
The greatest of all time does it in the biggest moment of Super Bowl 56.
Aaron! Hey, come here! Hey, I knew. World champs. Great job. We're world champs. Yes, sir. We're world champs. You make that play.
I knew it. How about that's the best part of that video is they go, yes! And then he goes, I knew it. That's just an absolutely unbelievable moment. That's why you got to love the mic'd up. But he actually said after the game, when you hear back on NFL Films, you'll hear that I said, I knew it. I knew AD was going to make a play. Your guys' reaction, that's the kind of clip that makes you just want to cry.
Well, two things. One is I said the exact same thing in a San Francisco game. Come on, Aaron, you got to make a play. You got to make a play.
Yeah.
And obviously I was chanting that again. And both times he came through, which is, the true heart of a champion, somebody that can just keep answering the bell over and over again. And part two of that is I'll watch that clip for the next 100 years, as long as I'm alive, and I'll get chills every time I see it.
Every single time.
It's just so inspiring and motivating. And it's just kind of a culmination of everything that's been the Rams this past 5 years. You wanted to see McVay get over the hump. You wanted to see them bring a championship to LA. You wanted to see Aaron Donald get a ring. You wanted to see all these great players and everyone that was, part of the Rams organization get over the hump. And that was that moment. And I think all of us we're emotional at that moment. And I was just like in a blackout zone for probably about 4 minutes after that play, just because I knew what, I think we obviously that's when they won the Super Bowl. Right. So It was just like this tidal wave of emotion after you saw that. And just
how can you write a better story? Aaron Donald has been with us since we were St. Louis Rams fans. And, he's the one that gets to end the chapter of, finally getting his ring and being cemented as the greatest defensive player of all time. The clip that you showed, Dean, is just so reminiscent of Vermeil, where he's like, couldn't ask for a better script. Couldn't ask for a better script.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's go win it now. Let's go win it now. And it's just like, it's a special feeling, Lloyd.
It is. It is. I get choked up every time I'll probably get choked up every time I see it. Like I said, for the next 10 years. Although
just got to celebrate it. And then to wrap him down like that, just like he did in San Francisco, I thought Burrow somehow almost made the throw, which was like up until the ball dropped, it was like New Year's. You know what I mean?
It happened so fast, and then when I saw the ball on the ground, that's when I knew it was like. Then the next thing I started to look at was the bottom of the screen. Was there any flags? Any flags?
So we were the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit for this game, right? So, Dad, you were at home. Nick, you were in Hermosa, and I was actually physically at the game. And as that moment happened, I didn't know what else to say besides we got the ring. Just screaming around the stadium, we got the ring. But it was a massive exhale, Dad, as you said, because it was such a massive investment. This entire season was all in. It was a massive gamble. Every single decision, right? Everybody evaluated it as a massive risk. The draft picks, everything, you mix that in. But then just the investment for fans, right? To go to the stadium multiple times this season, to support this team, to buy the new merchandise, right? To buy into all of the craziness, to just kind of live and breathe what they've been able to kind of put out, and the rebrand and everything that's been a part of them was difficult, right? And I think it was a roller coaster, and it was extremely emotional. But for all of that, the massive exhale to kind of happen in that moment in the stadium, it was a massive 5-minute blackout, just tears. You couldn't even believe that it was happening.
And if you rewind the clock a little bit, it started a year ago when they made the trade, right? Yep. Like that, like, you were at that moment, you're like, oh, this is going to get real. And every day felt real, right?
Every day.
Every single day with like, you want the bed thinking about, especially during that 3-game losing streak. Oh my God, is this like the master disaster plan of all history, right? Like, they're just not tough enough. They can't win these grind 'em type games, and they got all this glamour and glitz, but they're just not talented enough in the trenches, right? And that was the big fear. They were able to right the ship.
You could argue that they almost weren't. And I need to crack a beer for this for this part, because the video that Baldy put out, I just want to show everybody how extraordinarily close we were to being one missed pass rush away from the Super Bowl not being home in Los Angeles. So I'm going to show the clip that Baldy put out. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Okay, Hopkins and Spain are coming to him. So he's not going to go inside. He's going to go outside. Now, he beat Spain. All right, Joe Burrow looking. There's Tyler Boyd. He's all tangled up right there. He tries to hold it, but he can't get away from Aaron Donald. But if he had an extra tick before he just got that ball out of his hands, look what he missed. Down here at the bottom. All right, Jalen Ramsey, Jamar Chase. Jalen Ramsey loses his feet. He's down on the turf. And there's Jamar Chase, like literally running free. If you can hold up just one more second, Jamar Chase has that right hand up in the air. He's flat out won. He might walk into the end zone for the game winner. But Aaron Donald ruined it.
That's terrifying. Might walk into the end zone for the game winner? Yeah, that's how close it was.
Last night, and I felt like I was in a reality where he makes the pass and the game ends. And I was just so happy that we didn't exist in there, and Aaron Donald is on our team, and we are sitting here now champions, because the way he breaks that down, and he shows you that Ramsey kind of had an off night, kind of all night, but it didn't matter. People stepped up where they needed to.
Well, think about Brandon Cooks in the end zone 3 years prior, right? Standing there, and McCourty, right? Is that one of them?
Yeah, it was one of them.
Out of nowhere and breaks up the play, right? Like that's how close these games are, man. And that's what I said. It was a scary game, and when I saw that afterwards, like I think my heart stopped for a second, thinking, "Oh God, just think about how catastrophic that would have been for us."
Well. Yeah, it would have been. I mean, but that's how close it was. That's what I'm saying. That's why it was such a massive exhale, because there was nothing. Nothing will ever be like this season again. I don't think you could reenact it in any form. You'll never see it outside of Los Angeles, like I said, done as well as this. But again, like the Hollywood, for them to come into Hollywood just 3, 4, 5 years ago, it seems like. I think it was
2006 now, actually.
Yeah, so it's been 6 years, right? So, but I mean, all of this time to be able to put together this story just in this very short period of time, to already be a part of the City of Champions in 6 years, I think is just something unbelievable to do. And I didn't quite think it was possible especially when you go all in that regard, just because it's never been done in the NFL before. So it just seemed improbable. And you trust the guys, you trust the people, and that's the difference. It really is.
Well, and you forgot to mention the Super Bowl was in LA in a brand new $5 billion.
Yeah, but I have to say, I was at the game. There were thousands of Bengals fans there, 70%, 75% Bengals fans. I swear to you. It was a Bengals home game. They were playing Bengals themed music. They have a song, Who Day, it's a whole song, a Joe Burrow song that they played over the loudspeaker every single time they got a first down. It was obnoxious. I heard one single Whose House. Every Whose House chant had to be generated from the, I don't know, 10,000 Rams fans that were in the stadium. It was tough.
Before
a lot
the
of
game,
Rob Lowe's also. A lot of Rob Lowe's who were just fans of the NFL, just kind of lingering out there. So,
yeah, Mom was telling me who was at the game, and I saw the Chrisley family, and hey, they have an entertaining reality show, but why they're at the game,
they don't care.
That's the kind of stuff that I hate about the Super Bowl is, between the TikTok stars and the Instagram people and the celebrities that are wearing, like neutral color clothes. They're just there to have a cocktail.
Put on a Cooper Kupp jersey.
Yeah, I mean,
do they have to win? Do they have to win for celebrities to start doing that? Maybe that's going to be the culture now.
You had like LeBron, who was like a hype for the city of Cincinnati, but also loves OBJ. So he's like kind of rooting for the Rams, but kind of not. And I don't know. Yeah, I would just have loved to see, like, they should really do something where it's like, we have tickets for the celebrities, right? But we need to be able to give affordable tickets to actual fans. Like, because it's kind of just, I mean, everything that you just laid out, it's just, it's annoying. I would have loved to have gone. I can't afford that. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it.
Tickets were not affordable whatsoever.
No. And hey, it's the big moment. People want to be there, and it's a great halftime show, and there's corporate dollars and all that. I get it. I mean, I've taken many clients out to dinner and sports events, and it's great and it's fun. But at that time, you'd really like. You kind of feel like I'm gonna take a shot Les Snead here, though, but I don't mean to. But I'm just going to use this as an example. He goes to get his coffee at the same place every day, right? And I think they were making faces on the coffees of the players.
Yeah.
And all. It looked kind of cute, right? And they gave him tickets to the game, and they said, well, you deserve to be here. I mean, is that guy really a Rams fan? Has he been a Rams fan for a long time? There's lifelong Rams fans that can't get damn tickets, and the guy making the freaking coffee with Cooper Kupp's face on it deserves to be there? I disagree.
Well, it felt like 30,000 of the world's greatest Rams fans should have been at that game.
Exactly. And I don't know how the season ticket holders, obviously, but the way they break it out is, I don't know, maybe 10,000 each.
There are so many season ticket holders that are 49ers fans or not fans of the Rams. So in hopes that something like this happens where they're Bengals fans and they can go to the Super Bowl. Like, it's just how it is. I mean, it's a really good investment. You pay for a seating license, then you pay like $2,000 a ticket. Then some games are going for $2,000.
Yeah. And every team's going to want to travels to LA is like, well, we'll do a road trip to LA, so they'll bring 1,000 fans in. And
I'll tell you what, 1, 2, 3 Vespies are going to be at the banner drop game. So come September next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to, because I haven't been to the stadium yet, so I have to get out there for that.
That's the ring game too. They got a little ring.
No, they got fitted today, baby.
Yeah, they did get fitted today.
Oh, here's something. Dad, I want to ask you specifically, because my roommates were talking to me about it, and they're both big Eagles fans, and they were like, yeah, one or 2 years past where we were like, yeah, we won the Super Bowl like a couple of years ago, but after 2 years, you want to just get right back into it, and you're done the high. How long? Well, I mean, I guess the Rams were back in it in 3 years for you, or like 2 years after, but like that year when they didn't go, like, were you kind of like, this is okay, like, we just won?
No. Short answer, no, because you always want your team to win. And I remember being agitated at that game. What's his name? Oz Hakeem fumbled a punt at the end when we were trying to rally back against the Saints. And that was kind of like, but then, they retooled and they were back the next year. And that was that was the victory lap. And Tom Brady spoiled that. I think they were 14 or 16-point favorites in that game.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was crazy. But my point is, you're always going to want to see your team win, right? And I do feel, though, that the culture, everything that they've created, if they can keep it together, right? Meaning Snead and McVay and, all those key players, if they can keep cultivating that, I think they can be competitive year after year. And that's really, I think, what I want. I just don't want to go through another 14-year drought of Drecka football.
Well, they will. Then this is why, Dad.
Well,
no, we're not. I'm not saying
done it.
No, I'm just saying we're not going to go through Drek. I'm saying, I think we're going to be great for the next 3-4 years. And the reason why is because I see things like this, right? Despite being about $17.5 million effectively over the cap, the Rams can get about $60 million just with simple restructures on 6 players: Stafford, Ramsey, Kupp, Floyd, Woods, and Donald, and even more extensions. Plenty of room to run it back. I mean, you have the opportunity to be able to do it over the next 2 years. I think for people as sick-minded as they can be, we're going to compare this era to the greatest show on turf. In order for this team to get over the top, we got to win another Super Bowl to be considered the greatest dynasty in Rams history.
Listen, though,
potentially considered a dynasty of their own as well.
We will always have this moment. This can never be taken away from any Rams fan, any player on the team. This is ours, and it forever will be ours. And 2, the reason why I had such anger and dread and sadness in my soul, all about all the Goff stuff and Stafford things too, is because we watched the Super Bowl loss, which is one of the most demoralizing things ever. I don't know how you can be a Bills fan. Straight up, you go to 4 Super Bowls, you don't win a single one. I don't know how you can live your life like that.
Well, they'll win one.
Because generations. Here's
that one Super Bowl loss in 2018, kind of broke me a little bit. I became a different kind of fan that I never was before. So I feel like I can get back to the, happy-go-lucky kind of guy that I was before.
Should be back already.
Yeah.
And here's the sad part, right, is those 4 Super Bowls were in the 90s. A generation and a half of Bills fans have passed away and never saw their team win a Super Bowl. I mean,
that's so cynical.
Look at the Bengals. They've been around for 53 years, and they're still one of 12 teams that haven't won a Super Bowl?
0-3 in the Super Bowl.
You can go your whole life and never see it happen. And
that's what I mean. We saw it together, all 3 of us. Right. We weren't together physically, but we were father, son, holy me. We were all together. At least it felt like it. It was
we were
we have that, and it's amazing, and it feels so good. And I'm still riding the high, and I think I'll ride it all next year. We can say we're Super Bowl champs. Until the next winter.
As you should. You should continue to ride the high. And a big part of the reason is Sean McVay. I don't think we've spent enough time talking about Sean McVay on this podcast, and we'll close it out just with.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before we close anything out, I want to address these rumors, right? All these retirement rumors. These guys aren't going anywhere, right? That's just
no, they're not going anywhere. Listen to what McVay had to say on retiring.
Out there that Sean McVay, if he wins Super Bowl 56, could walk away at age 36 from coaching. No, is that happening?
No. I'm so happy for this team right now. I'm so happy to be associated with it. We're going to enjoy tonight.
Yeah, well, you should. By the way, amazing
I'm not going to remember any of it.
That's good. That's the way to go. Go celebrate.
That's my favorite clip of Sean McVay in the history of Sean McVay.
Yeah, so here's my point or just my thoughts on this over time. First off, for those of us that lived through the greatest show on turf, I remember I was skiing, celebrating the Rams' victory in 1999 or early 2000. And I'm in the bar, and I see Vermeil on the screen, and he's announcing his retirement. I'm like, the hell's he retiring for? He's got this great team here. He could win 2 or 3 Super Bowls. What's he retiring for, right? And to hear the word retirement after a Rams Super Bowl win is just please let me get a good night's sleep, right? I don't need to think about that. And I don't even know where that shit's coming from, honestly. Why are they saying Aaron Donald's going to retire? He's only 30 years old.
It's ridiculous.
He's not going anywhere. I mean, probably play 3 to 5 years.
It's strange. I can't wait for you to watch American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story, because there was a lot of Mike Martz in that movie. More Mike Martz than I thought there ever would be in a single movie ever.
The character that plays him the actor is freaking amazing.
The actor that plays him is perfect, pitch perfect. And
they make him such an asshole to start that. It's so funny. You got to watch
they kind of foresaw the fact that, Mike Martz was going to eventually kind of take over, and Dick Vermeil was kind of the rah-rah guy, the energy guy that believed in, people that worked at grocery stores, which is kind of how they framed the story, which was partially true. But at the same time, like as that era was being taken over by Mike Martz, that was always the concern, the comparison with Martz and Sean McVay was, you have this great team, you have the opportunity to get over the top, but are you too, short-minded? Are you too stuck in your own ways? Are you too much of, the Gruden and Shanahan experiment kind of, recycled in its own way? Are you burning yourself out, Dick Vermeil style? Like all those things kind of came into consideration. But now the comparisons between Mike Martz and Sean McVay are completely gone, and I never want to hear them again.
Well, this whole weekend's been great to be a Rams fan. I mean, obviously the Super Bowl, but you had the NFL honors and Dick Vermeil getting in the Hall of Fame. It's just a remarkable accomplishment. He did take 2 down-and-out franchises and turn them around. He is one of the most powerful leaders that you could ever have as a coach. Yeah, and I'm sure I haven't seen American Underdog yet. I was just trying to get through this season, but
you saved it for the perfect time. I promise you'll enjoy the hell out of it.
An incredible man and beloved in Philadelphia and beloved, in other cities too for what he's been able to accomplish. And so great to see him go in. But, I'd be remiss to not mention Cooper Kupp as Offensive Player of the Year. We thought, that's a slam dunk. Maybe he's got a chance to win the MVP, but certainly great to see that. And then Andrew Whitworth with a Man of the Year award. Pretty remarkable to see him, get to that achievement, right? That he's done for the community and for his fellow Los Angelonians and other cities that he's lived in. Just a great person.
Whitworth's commitment and the ability to kind of come back and beat the old franchise that drafted you, that did him wrong. How about Taylor Rapp gets engaged? Van Jefferson's wife goes in labor during the Super Bowl, right? A lot of great personal storylines that you could root for just outside of the game. That is a reason why, other people can become Rams fans, even if they haven't yet. Some people are just beginning their journey, as they might say. There's some dad out there that's introducing the Rams now to their son who was 7, and their 2 sons that were 7 and 5 years old when the Rams won their first Super Bowl. So being able to kind of introduce that stuff with these personal storylines, the exposure that you do have to all of it now with social media, I think that's where it all kind of comes together. And that's where, our heart lies, is the fact that these players are good people. And so is Sean McVay. And, he could go off into the sunset. He could retire. He may also come back if he retires in 10 years and win us another Super Bowl. You never know. But I mean, no, he's not going anywhere. But I mean, the 3 guys that I feel like are just the heart, soul, spirit of this team. Robert Woods is probably one of these guys that could be up there. But just look at these 3 that are just celebrating in Disney World. I titled this video "The Boys in Disney World," Disneyland, rather. Hold on.
Congratulations to the LA Rams.
Nick, did you ever see that last part?
Yeah. I mean, there's just so much awesome stuff that we get to receive now. I've even watched the NFL Films mic'd up thing. I've just kind of seen clips of it.
You have to.
The no look pass not really even being talked about, and now it's that's going to be cemented as the greatest play of this Super Bowl. And it's just
here's a picture of you right after the no look pass.
Do you have the video of me from the one video I requested for this podcast, or no?
Yeah, I do, actually. This is a flashback of Nick back in November during the Titans game with Jake Reiner, who will be on our next podcast. I hope he could come live from Disneyland, but if not, I still have the video. Hold on.
Check in with owner Jake Reiner again. And this time, he has 2 members of the Ramley family with him. Jake.
Hey there, Jim. I'm excited to have my two guests with me. We've got Nick Vespi of the Rams Brothers podcast and Ryan Dyrud of the LA Football Network. These guys are diehard Rams fans. And on your pod, Nick, you predicted a blowout because the Titans don't have Derrick Henry. I assume that went into your decision.
Absolutely. Ryan Tannehill is a subpar quarterback. I think Matthew Stafford is the real deal. 41-27 final prediction, Rams.
Okay, and Ryan.
See, there you go. Where it mattered on live TV, I lay my soul on the line and I stick up for my guy, Matthew Stafford. So, you can say what you want about me, Rams fans. I did it. I was there and I respected the man. And now we all.
I actually think we would have. You were right when you said Ryan Tannehill's not the real deal, or whatever you said about Ryan Tannehill. Because if they had a better quarterback, I think it would have been a Rams and Titans rematch. Because the Bengals, they won in the last second because of a Tannehill turnover. You may not have even seen the Bengals in the final game. So good call. Two good calls, Nick. Besides the score, I don't know where you got that score from.
Well, the Rams were rolling then, right? They were a lot of points. Here's the heartbreak prop bet of the game. I don't know if you guys heard this one, but
I won $3K on the Rams, so
yeah, good for you.
I bet on them.
Cheers.
I mean, everybody knows this, but I bet on them as soon as they signed OBJ to win the Super Bowl. So $3K for me.
You deserve it. Enjoy it. So here's the one that was probably the most sickening if you had this one. The over-under Matthew Stafford rushing yards was 6.5. He was over. Guess what happened?
He
got sacked.
Knees.
Oh, he took two
knees. It went back 2 yards.
Oh, that's tough.
Don't tell me you took that, Dad. Did you have that?
No,
that's tough.
I can't bet on the Rams.
I know I couldn't either.
I bet on them every game in the playoffs, so I felt like I had to lay something on the line for the Super Bowl. I also wore this jersey every single playoff game.
You said you picked them when they signed OBJ, which would have been like
November.
2 months ago. So you didn't bet on the Super Bowl the day of. So that's
no. I also bet on it the day of.
Oh, was that a winner? Yeah, I don't know. That looked kind of sinister. That smile.
Well, I mean, I couldn't take the
I call bullshit on that one.
No. I couldn't bet on the Rams -4 because if they won and they didn't cover, I'm like, what am I going to be upset?
Sorry.
So I did Rams money line. You can ask Dante.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I did Rams money line, and I won a nice little extra 600 on that.
Nice.
Good deal. An extra 600.
How was your record? Have you done a recap yet for the year? Your picks?
Next episode.
Yeah, 67% positive Knicks picks.
That's pretty good.
And I took a lot of underdogs, so I think it was like 6.5 to 1. Like if you would have you would have if you would have put $100 on every game, you would have made 100 times 6 point something like that. I remember I had
6,700.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, whatever the odds were.
All right. Well, I'm going to send us off with this. We're going over the hour. It's almost 1 a.m.
I mean, we're Super Bowl champions, baby.
We're Super Bowl champs.
We're Super Bowl champions.
We had to fill up the episode with pictures and videos and good times and Johnny drama. And that's what this season was. I think we're still all kind of coming down from it. I think the next episode might even have more energy because I don't even know what the hell it's going to be packed full.
We got Ryan coming. We got Jake Reiner.
We're still coming down from it. I feel like I just got home a second ago.
And here's the difference these days is, I don't know about you, but between Twitter and Instagram and TV, it's like there's so much data just still flowing through my brain from every angle. And it's just like you're coming off that high. It's just kind of like melling. Can't even say I'm so tired. It's 1 a.m.
I got you. I know.
You're just kind of like mellow at this point.
Well, I'm going to sing you a lullaby, Dad and Nick, real quick with this sign off from Aaron Donald. Hold on.
You wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
That's all we got. I mean, that video makes me cry every time I see it. I don't have anything else to say.
Either A, you've made a lot of money in sponsorship dollars on this episode, or B, you've probably destroyed about 10 copyrights. So whatever. It's all good.
It's YouTube.
Oh, so you can do whatever you want, baby.
Yeah. Screen grab.
Hey, the Rams brothers were brought to you by Disney for the first 1.5 years of their lives. So I think they'll understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get kicked off of YouTube. We're still on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Google Pods and wherever else you can find your podcasts. So
we're not big enough to be kicked off yet.
No.
You got to get over like 250 views to get kicked off. And, we're still working on that. So.
And you're giving them free advertising, so they should love it.
Exactly.
Do we have any ad reads? Is there anybody want to call out TickPick?
No. I did use TickPick. I used TickPick to buy the tickets. TickPick.com/RamsBros. And I used the discount code $100 from LAFB, which was great. Promo code LAFB to buy my tickets. You can still use that promo code. TickPick.com/RamsBros.
I'm going to use it to get our Tenacious D tickets.
Yeah, concert tickets, whatever you want. We'll still get credit for it. But it was just the most ridiculous experience of my entire life. We didn't have tickets. Just want to say real quick, we didn't have tickets. We got in the Uber around 1 p.m. and we were like, yeah, we'll figure it out. Both of our phones, we were reliant on 5G or whatever the hell it was, just consistently refreshing StubHub, TickPick, Ticketmaster, wherever you could find tickets just to see where we could get the best deal. Waited until about 2:45, pulled the trigger and went into the stadium. So just the amount of angst and
that's amazing. I just think it's so cool how we were all kind of in different key places. Like Dad was back home. I was in my place here and you were in the stadium. Like, it's just like, it felt like we were all together, even though we were all like, I like you guys were next to me. It felt like it the whole time. It was really cool.
Yeah. Well, Dean, I can't wait till we go to the stadium together in September. That'll be it for me.
What Dean just outlined was my nightmare, but then I couldn't get tickets, and then there was so much traffic I would have missed the first half of the game trying to get back.
That's what I was telling him, Dad. I was like, "Are you sure you don't want to just stay here?" And
Jeez, that would have been.
But the whole season was an insane gamble risk. I was like, I feel like
Dean,
I owe it back.
Dean
to the
really
team.
took Les Snead's model and said, "I don't give a shit. I'm all in," and you got to respect the hell out of it, and I do.
And you had a happy ending, that's for sure.
Well, we were so close.
Man, we deserve it.
So close to it not being that way, but we deserved it. We've been through so much. You feel like you deserve it as a fan. We put in so many hours, 500 hours, Nick and I, behind the scenes just to put this podcast together. But it comes to fruition. It's a beautiful thing. We're here all together. We get to celebrate a Super Bowl victory for the rest of our lives. Everybody that's listening to this podcast, that's a fan of us on Twitter, that's a fan of us on social media, on YouTube, wherever the hell you watch us or hear us, you're all Super Bowl champions. We all get to enjoy this together forever.
I'm giving away a Rams Brothers hoodie. You have to tag at Dean Vez, and you have to say, Dad, what do you have to say?
You have to say hashtag Nick is paying for it.
No, Dad. Give us a little Banjo-Kazooie thing.
You kind of put me on the spot. Let me think about it for a second. But what I will say is for all the dads and longtime fans, I mean, I'm so happy for them because it's, you put a lot of time into being a fan, a lot of time without possibly no reward, like I said. So I'm just really happy for them that they've had their moment. We've all had our moment together. I think of some of the guys that I've met through Instagram Twitter and some of those things where I'd send them a note like, hey, nice job, or, stay with it or whatnot. And we all got to celebrate that moment together, which I thought was really, really cool. So for a magical word for Nikki, you need a word?
No, give me like a phrase like Banjo-Kazooie and Smash.
It can be anything, Dad. We just make it up. It's completely
F Harambe. How about that?
What?
That's what the Bengals were playing for, apparently.
I said F Harambe.
No. Make it video game related.
Oh, video game related?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that was a comment that I had too. Was like they're playing for a dead.
Yeah, no, that pissed me off too. It's like the Rams are playing for Aaron Donald's legacy, and you're backing some bullshit,
Come on,
some meme.
Yeah, the meme was. I mean, they killed that meme.
Dad, you know people are like waiting at their keyboards right now for this special phrase.
I have nothing. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Just say Banjo Kazooie is great, and we love Nick and Dean.
Just say Nick is paying for the sweatshirt, and you got the sweatshirt.
Oh, no. You have to tweet at Dean.
All right, here's one for you. Whiz Pig.
Oh, deep cut.
How's that?
Victory. You have to tweet at Dean_Vez WizPig, and then you get a first one to do it, or I don't know, Dean will select them. Gets a free Rams Brothers sweater.
He knew, Nick. He knew that was the bomb he was waiting to drop. An hour and 10 minutes into the pod, he was waiting for that WizPig bomb to drop.
You got a WizPig picture, Dean? Can you pull up a WizPig pic?
I don't.
That's all right.
For all you fans of the Rams Bros, just so you know, I invented Twitch. Those two would sit there and watch me for hours playing Banjo Kazooie and all those games. That's why they resonate so well with them to this day.
I created Twitch.
What? You didn't sit there and watch me play?
No, I did. That's why I love it. It was like a movie, but you were controlling it. It was the coolest thing ever.
Isn't that Twitch? All right. Well, I'm officially delirious. So
yeah, let's get the hell out of here.
We're done. Peace.
Rams
Love you
Brothers
guys.
Pod.
We're all
Love you guys.
champs.
World champions.
All right.
We are the champs. Peace.